The forbidden love of Hero and Leander. The gods had woven a cruel fate for Hero and Leander before they ever met. Yet love, bold and unyielding, cares not for the whims of deities. Hero, a priestess of Aphrodite, lived in seclusion within a tower overlooking the Hellespont's tempestuous waters. Sworn to chastity, she was a flower forever in bloom but never to be plucked. Her beauty was spoken of in every corner of Cestus, her eyes reflecting the very sea that guarded her. She served in the temple, offering prayers and garlands to the goddess of love, her days filled with ritual and devotion. Yet in her heart she yearned for something more, something beyond the sacred vows imposed upon her. Leander, a youth of Abydos on the opposite shore, was blessed with a face that could rival the statues of Olympus and a heart filled with reckless devotion. Unlike Hero, he was free, his days spent among poets and dreamers, his spirit unburdened by divine obligation. Though he had been told of Hero's beauty, he never thought much of it, until he saw her. At a festival honoring Aphrodite, fate conspired to bring them together. The moment their eyes met, the world shrank until only they existed. A silent understanding passed between them, a connection deeper than the words they soon exchanged. Leander, emboldened by love, sought Hero in the temple gardens that evening. Under the moonlight, they whispered words of devotion. Why must love be forbidden if it is Aphrodite's gift? Leander questioned, his voice trembling with passion. The gods have set my path and I must follow it, Hero whispered, though her gaze betrayed the conflict within her. Then let me change your path, he pleaded, lifting her hand to his lips. Let me be the one you worship, for my devotion will never wane. Hero hesitated, torn between duty and desire. But as his lips touched hers, the god's will was forgotten. From that moment, neither god nor sea nor mortal vow could keep them apart. Each night, under a canopy of stars, Hero placed a lamp in her tower's window to guide Leander as he swam across the Hellespont. The sea, though jealous, begrudgingly parted for his strokes, allowing him to reach his beloved's embrace. In the shadows of the tower their love bloomed, vows carried away by the night breeze. Hours passed like moments, and when dawn threatened to expose their secret, Leander would return to the waters, the warmth of Hero's touch still lingering on his skin. Promise me you will always come back, Hero murmured one night, fingers tangled in his damp hair. Even if the sea itself turns against me, I will fight it for you, Leander vowed, pressing a kiss to her forehead. Nothing, not even the gods, can keep me away. But love is a fragile thing, and the gods, ever cruel, resent love unbound by their decree. The summer nights passed in bliss, but as the seasons turned, the winds grew colder and the sea more treacherous. Hero begged Leander to wait, to let the stormy months pass, but he would not be deterred. What is a storm to a heart that beats only for you, he declared, pressing one final kiss to her trembling lips before diving into the churning waters. That fateful evening, a storm gathered its wrath, howling like a vengeful spirit. The waves swelled, swallowing the moon's glow, but Leander, undeterred, dove into the abyss. The wind snatched the breath from his lungs, the currents clawed at his limbs, and the sea, spurned by his defiance, consumed him whole. Hero, waiting with trembling hands, watched as the storm devoured her beacon, leaving the night an endless void. She paced within her tower, each moment an eternity. When dawn's light finally broke across the horizon, it revealed her lover's lifeless form, cast upon the shore like an offering to the cruel tides. Her cries shattered the morning silence, a wail of grief so raw that even the sea seemed to momentarily still. She knelt beside him, fingers tracing the contours of his once warm face, now pale and lifeless. "Leander," she whispered brokenly, shaking her head as tears spilled down her cheeks. "You promised me, you promised." The weight of the god's cruelty pressed upon her chest, and she knew she could not endure a world where he was no longer. Without hesitation, without fear, she climbed to the highest point of her tower. Her final gaze swept over the endless sea, the very force that had carried and then claimed her love. With a final breath, she cast herself into the waves, her soul seeking the only solace it could find, in death. As her body fell, the wind seemed to hush and the waves grew still as if the sea itself mourned the lover's fate. The gods watched in silence, unmoved by the tragic end, their divine will unchallenged. Yet mortals did not forget. The people of Cestus and Abydos spoke of Hero and Leander for generations, their love immortalized in stories, retold across the windswept shores of the Hellespont. And so, the sea that had once carried their love became their grave. The gods, unmoved, allowed their tale to drift into legend, a warning and a sorrowful hymn of devotion. Some say that on certain nights when the wind is quiet and the waves gentle, two figures can be seen in the mist, locked in an eternal embrace, forever defying fate. Sailors claim to hear voices carried by the breeze, the echoes of a love too strong for even death to silence. Thus ended the love of Hero and Leander, tragic, beautiful, and unforgotten. And though their bodies were lost to the depths, their love lives on in the tides, a tale etched in the fabric of time for eternity.